got 2 majors, 3 tour titles. And out of Saginaw, Michigan.
One of the nicest guys out here on tour, and his son is with him. He's been out here the entire time. He's going to be through the first 2 weeks, and you know, I think it's kind of big for him. He's a family guy, and he gets to have his son with him here for these 2 weeks, and it's paying off here today.
And he has been very consistent with that line. Of the guys I've watched, Chris, this afternoon on the 12 play, there were some right-handers that were trying to go all the way to Dover to get a good look, and he pretty much stayed there.
He did, and you know, he is a shot maker, despite the fact that he is a full roller. He uses basically half to maybe a quarter of his thumb, but he's very good at staying up the lane despite his heavy roll and his big rev rate.
And Ryan, of course, the 2015 U.S. Open champion, so we've got 2 major champions face-to-face in this opening match, with the winner taking on Zachary Wilkins.
Ryan had some big games as well. As you alluded to, he's had a lot of success in this building. It is a place that has a little bit of friction. 15-year-old HPL surface here, so moderate friction. The SPL is much more friction than that, but that allows Ryan to play to his strength, which is really high ball speed with that high rev rate.
Looking for his first title since 2016. And a wraparound 7. Bad break there for Ryan.
Yeah, that's tough there, and we didn't see hardly any of that last week in Wilmington. While the pattern seemed like it was a little bit tougher there, the carry was superb in that building, and so it led to the scores seeming like they were a little higher than they should be. Here was pretty much the opposite, where the carry was a little bit tougher, and the pair-to-pairs and how guys played them made the lanes very tough going across the house.
Well, Ciminelli has not really had a big year on tour. He was with the winning Portland Lumberjacks in the PBA League, but he had a rough start to his season. His best finish, 16th, and that was in doubles. His best singles finish, 20th on the Go Bowling Tour. That was at Lubbock in January. He did bowl 3 regional events, April, May, and June, and finished in the top 5 or better in all of those.
I think this right lane will be the key for Tom Smallwood.
Oh, he hates it. And he knew right away that that was not his shot.
Well, several of these right lanes, as we got in the middle of the center, were very tight down lane, even on the.
Apologize for any technical issues we've had. We are at the Gene Carter Pro Shop Classic, the first of our Stepladder games. Ryan Ciminelli and Tom Smallwood. And that is Ryan Ciminelli with a strike. Smallwood, of course, a winner last year at the PBA Players. That controversial shaving cream finish that sent Facebook all goofy. Remember that?
Yeah.
Oh, man, what a wasted time that was.
There are times when social media is a great example of the detriment of our society.
Yeah.
We're worried about things that just don't matter.
Yeah, it was an utterly irrelevant debate. John Van Hees had come out and given him the Barbasol salute, and before the match was officially over, but Tom had already won.
Inside of target again.
Oh, he got it, collapses, all sorts of trouble. And Tom threw a shot with a ball had shaving cream on it. We all got a good chuckle, and then Facebook took over and people weren't laughing anymore.
Yeah. He'd had already officially won the match, and
yeah.
He just had not thrown his last shot, so it didn't matter. But as you can see here, for those of you just joining us, Tom with that strike there and a little bit of holding on number 14 takes a 21-pin lead. Ryan Ciminelli has left 2 ringing 7s both times after strikes in both the 2nd and the 5th frame. Max score 269 for Tom Smallwood. Max score 248 for Ryan Ciminelli.
Uh-oh.
And he's one of those.
No, oh man, I thought that 10 might get clipped. And suddenly Ryan Ciminelli is in very good shape.
As Smallwood saying right there, I get a break on the one shot off one I didn't throw so great, and then immediately get paid back on a very good shot, and then gets full penalty.
E.J. Tackett would like a word because he had 5 pocket 410s today.
Ugh.
and just missed out again.
It's a very technical term. Ugh.
It is, and you know what? That's probably the nicest thing he could have said about it too. So Tom takes his pill bitterly and has opened the door for this powerful lefty here, Ciminelli.
I am a favor on AMF machines like this. I'm shooting the pin side that's away from the ball door. In that case, the ball door wears the 10 pin, and that sits lower than the 7 pin does. So
you see in the distance there with his rep, Brett Spangler, Zach Wilkins, last second strategy. He is up next. Two-hander from Canada.
Down by 7, chance to take the lead.
A chance taken.
One probably feels a little vindication there where he's bowled a very good game, with the exception of the one shot with the one flyby there in the third frame. He was lucky to lead just the 1-2. Everything else has been very good, but a couple of ringers, and now he takes the lead. Chance to extend that lead to 13.
Max at 248. Wow. Absolute high flush for Ciminelli.
See that ball he's throwing has a ton of surface on it. Pin way over, close to his axis point. I'm guessing probably a 1-inch pin. Allows him to stay on top and get the ball to pick up early and not have to open his angles up.
So Tom Smallwood, one bad break has put him in a difficult position here.
It's just a huge swing, 30-pin swing there. Still a max score of 235, and I do think if he gets to 235, that would still be enough to win. Tall order, though.
Especially now. In fact, impossible. And very difficult 210 there for Smallwood.
On the left lane, that will get back from there, not on the right lane. Once it gets right of the 3-pin, too much wiggle down lane. Not hurt on count there, but this spare is absolutely a must. Ciminelli on 218 pace. Smallwood right now on 205 pace.
Trying to bang it off the back, and he did it! That's not how you telestrate it, but you know what? It's down. I don't think you would tell people to bang it off the back wall, but that's okay.
No, there's some that will happen, though. And again, that's on that short side where the pick cushion is a little bit higher, and he got a good break there. Now he's got to settle in, make a really good shot here, and force Ciminelli to throw a couple of strikes to lock him out.
Well, this was his 7-10 lane. Oop, trip to 4-9, but still. And it's a little bit easier if Ciminelli can keep up the strikes for Ryan to move on.
It's such human nature right there. The last one gets a little bit long, a little bit behind it to make it pick up sooner, and that time he did. When you're playing such straight angles, though, that little bit sooner it can turn into 3 feet and then turns into a 4-pin. Now down 14 pins. Max score 214. Ciminelli on a 218 pace. 9 spare, 9 spare, 9 would be enough. Striking any of those spots puts him in fantastic shape.
Wow, and I've seen that happen to right-handers where a pin dashes in front of the 7. That time it happened to Ryan from the left side with a pin dashing in front of the 10.
Wow. That speed, rev rate, and that angle, that was a student body right where everything went up, over, around, and in front of.
That's amazing. All right.
Now we've turned this 10th frame from a low stress situation into a much, much higher one. And this has been the problem all the way through, is that the misses, generally speaking, do not get 9.
Yeah.
It's
also at stake, by the way, 2,500 points to the winner in the USBC Cup. Kyle Sherman, who has left the building on his way to West Virginia to visit some friends, is the leader. Kyle did make the cut, but did not finish that high in the top 12. That's perfect. That time the 10 pin is smothered.
And that's the one he needed there. That leaves him in the driver's seat. He just needs 8 pins and 2 shots now to shut out Mr. Smallwood.
And it'll be a 2-hander coming up, Zach Wilkins. And I haven't heard him practicing or anything. He's been watching the entire time as far as I know. That'll do it.
Yeah, I heard a few shots down there earlier. I haven't seen anything in quite a while. You can see him sitting there with his rep, Brett Spangler.
You have Twitter fame. So Ryan Ciminelli, 2 weeks in hiding, at least as far as the PBA is concerned, for some comments he made that drew the ire of the PBA Tour, has come back and is closer to another title. And it'll be the first in a couple of years. That shot means nothing other than, although that reaction said something, maybe that is something that'll be on his mind as he gets ready for the next match against Zach Wilkins. So we'll step aside for a moment. Tom Smallwood's going to finish in 4th. And Chris and I will return with the next match. Zach Wilkins out of Canada versus Ryan Ciminelli right here. This is the PBA Gene Carter Pro Shop Classic on FloBowling.
Let's hear it for Tom Smallwood. Ryan Ciminelli moves up to the semifinal match to face the number 2 seed, Zach Wilkins. Both Zach
And Ryan Ciminelli wastes no time. Practice is over, and our second game of the Stepladder Finals with Ryan Ciminelli and Zach Wilkins. And Wilkins, much like B.J. Moore not even last week, a few days ago, looking for his first PBA title, will meet the right-hander in a moment. Ciminelli opens with an opportunity to spare.
Like you mentioned, his very last shot hooked a little bit early. I think that was a veteran move where he moved a little bit left, trying to make sure he didn't beat up his line, so to speak. If anything, make it hook a little bit more. And then he missed that one at the bottom. You see that look on his face.
So here is Zach Wilkins. His best finishes on tour were in 2017. He had 3 in the top 20. 12th in the Chameleon is his best. He does not have a title yet on the PBA Tour. 2-hander from Canada. He was magnificent today. He did have a 4th this year in Rolf Holman in the doubles in January, 15th at the Oklahoma Open, 12th at the Players Championship this year, and 19th in Wilmington. So see how he does. Whoa, where did that go?
Not on that lane. See where they're playing a little bit deeper. Once you get it right of about the 8th or 9th board, there's not really any change. 8 is really probably the virtual gutter once you're moved in a little bit on this right lane. The left lane, you can get a little bit more help.
So a little shaky there. I wonder, you know, how much he spent thinking about what this could be.
Well, he's not the first person to be on their first show, and their first show, first shot gets away from him just a little bit. So to come out of that basically clean with a spare and no blood drawn is certainly a bonus.
See how he does on the left lane. I knew I would like him. His favorite musical group is Rush. He is Canadian after all, and he loved Breaking Bad. So good for you, Zach. Excellent taste. Oh, and it snapped in beautifully, and ringing 10 is all. That's very, very unfortunate.
It's a ball change there on the left lane. We'll see if he goes back and forth or if that's on both lanes as well. Zach is it's very interesting. He's such a young player, and he's had some big time success with Team Canada, but some up and downs here on tour. And ironically, some of the times he's bowled best is the opposite of what you think about powerful two-handers. Some of his best moments have been when the lanes are actually really hard. And so when you think of guys two-handed, they've opened up more area. And he's surprisingly successful when the lanes are at their most challenging. And certainly crossing pairs today, they were challenging.
I heard.
Wow.
I heard about it when I walked in the door today, and all the stories I heard pretty much held up. Pretty shot for Ciminelli.
The problem he has is this. Generally, when all the right-handers get the extra practice, there's an advantage to the guy who is coming on the lanes because of all the extra balls thrown in between. That traffic doesn't affect Ryan at all.
Nope.
He is already very comfortable in the lane. He had one shot that basically missed the pocket other than his fill ball. And I don't expect him to give Zach any time to breathe here.
Oh,
it's basically whether he carries or not.
And in the distance, Tom Daugherty awaits the winner. So you've got some guys who are eager to get back in the winner's circle. Singles players. Oh, yeah. 8-pin did not stand a chance. That was squeezed faster than toothpaste out of a tube. The messenger over there to wipe out the 8.
Pretty fortunate there. That was a little inside of target and it held, and that is bad news for Zach Wilkins and Tom Daugherty.
Yeah, good point. Wilkins looking for his first strike. Now, the last time he went wide right on 14. And even though there's traffic behind that 2-pin, that's not going to be enough to take it down. So he needs to find an X on that board fast.
This is kind of what we saw, guys having different strategies on different pairs, but that right lane was the tricky pair. If you could figure out this right lane, left lane wasn't all that, not nearly as difficult to string strikes with.
Well, it's a clean game. This is actually how he bowled in the position round with Tom Daugherty. Both those guys were so far ahead of everybody else, there wasn't much of a question that they were going to be 1 and 2, but he couldn't find the strike zone until late in that game against Daugherty. And it looks like the same kind of thing. He made all his spares. He was clean, but clean now may not be enough.
Big difference between crossing pairs and surviving and then putting a big game or two together and winning matches versus a guy comfortable on the TV pair.
There you go. He needed
that. Ball looks
that.
great on that left lane. The question is, can he switch to it and get it to do the right thing on the right lane, or is he just going to have to move with the other ball he has? Ciminelli here, already up by 12, chance to go to 22. A little blood in the water here.
Yep, another friendly messenger coming in for Ryan.
The key when you watch Ryan is just watch his follow through. His follow through is going up through the ball, up through his shoulder, and basically in front of his face. There's a pretty good shot. If he's crossing it over to his right ear, it means the ball has gotten behind him in his backswing and he's trying to save it. Generally speaking, those don't hook as much, and that's when he can get in trouble.
This will be quite a story for him, considering it's been a very difficult year and he is coming off suspension. If he could win this event. Why not? It's all going his way right now.
Wow. Boy, those are the shots he was not able to carry in match one that ended up keeping it very close.
And you were dead right, Chris. He's not giving Zach Wilkins a moment to breathe.
Well, he's done exactly what he needs to do. Now he's up by 32, and he's forced Zach into an early must-strike situation to keep this close.
And is he still? Yeah, he's sticking with the two-ball strategy here, too.
Going with the rogue on this right lane.
Ooh, look out through the face, and he cannot A.J. Chapman his way toward breaking up the 4-9. Hence named after A.J.'s remarkable success in PBA League last month at breaking that 4-9 down into a strike.
Repeating shots is what we refer to that at Wichita State. So.
Yes, well, you folks would. Yes, the Wichita way. I know all about it.
Yeah, no, that's. We don't do the Wichita
I see you made
way.
Tom Daugherty wear yellow and black today because he's hanging out with you now. So I saw him with a yellow and black shirt on. Oh my God, Chris picked that out for you?
That was after bowling. He wore his British flag today.
Yes.
You saw where that got him. So.
Got him
No
in
extended
Philadelphia
play.
right now.
Yeah.
With your car.
Yeah, wankers.
So Ciminelli. See, you're learning the lingo already.
Oh, I've got enough full indoctrination between him and Stu.
Big shot. You're right. He owns that lane.
Yeah, no problems at all. And I'm guessing that ball's probably just a little bit early on this right lane and probably not quite enough down lane. So he's gone with that rogue on the right lane. First shot's wide right. Second one is wide as well. And then that was way closer to what he was trying to do, but made a little move off of it and got himself in trouble. Chance to really put the hammer down here.
Boy, no trouble at all for Ciminelli. And I'm comfortable, the word you used earlier seems like the apt description for the way he looks right now. With a nice lead here through 6.
Well, he's playing his A game, and firm speed, using a very weak drill ball so that he can stand right on top of that friction out there. See the size of that club he has on the left side of his body there. There's no problem creating power.
This would be
Tom Daugherty walking over in the background.
He may not be overjoyed at what he's watching. 6 in a row for the lefty. And Tom got a little smile on his face like, oh, this is going to be fun in the finals.
Yeah, great.
He sits down with his wife. I think that's his wife, right? And Sean Maldonado. No, not it. Don't know who she is. And I thought, my mistake, not trying to cause trouble.
Significant other.
Thank you. That's better.
Maybe the bigger problem for Tom Daugherty, and not that this match is completely over yet, but at 52 pins down, chance to cut it back to 42 here.
All right, finally found a line on that lane. His first strike on the right.
It's still a 248 pace, but he is very literally in must-strike territory now, as Ryan is already on 250 pace. Really, is call it, any miss would make it 249. So that would, if Zach can strike out, he will force Ciminelli to at least throw one more double and stay clean.
He got it. It held off. 3 in a row for Zach Wilkins, but is it too little too late? Based on what we've seen from Ciminelli, it may be. And you're going to have a final with two guys hungry to get back into the winner's circle. Well, he is just so confident right now.
That swing stays under his shoulder like that. There's nothing but excellence coming after it. As you can see right there on our scoreboard, 42-pin lead. Now at this point, he basically just needs marks. Anything clean will keep him advancing to our championship match.
Yep, 2016, the last time he was in the PBA winner's circle. He did win a couple of regionals in 2018. My goodness. Well, Zach Wilkins just ran into the proverbial buzzsaw with the buzz cut. And that is all for Zach Wilkins. But the good news is this will be his finest PBA event. He's going to finish third. And hopefully this will carry on for this very talented two-hander. And really the right lane, I think two things were his undoing. That lane, but Ryan Ciminelli had a lot to do with it.
Well, there's just no room to breathe. And so there's so much pressure creates other things out there like that. I do think probably the worst news, if I'm Tom Daugherty right now, is that Zach was playing left of where Tom wanted to play. That shot right there is way closer to where Tom is wanting to play in the lane, and so he did not get any help breaking the lane down. And with Ryan basically already lined up and doing nothing but improving his shot out there, will basically come down to carry for Ryan what number he will shoot. And can Tom create enough reaction to keep up?
So you're going to have two experienced champions, but both have been out of the winner's circle for a little while on the big tour. In fact, both of them 2016. And Zach Wilkins will just get out of the way. He'll end up with a pretty decent game, but decent's not cutting it right now against a guy who has strung together strikes from frames 2 through 9.
No, really, 225. We've seen a lot of 160s when you first came on TV, and this was not a exceptionally easy pair. That's many times, well, just last game that would have won.
Yeah, 225 in a Stepladder final debut is not bad.
No, it's actually a very good game.
Oh, now he misses.
I think that might have actually been a different ball.
Just a test?
Yep. Zach throwing more shots from deeper is not what Tom wants to see right now either.
So Zach Wilkins acknowledges the crowd and a smile, and really, I know he's disappointed, but I'm sure later he'll feel pretty happy about his best finish and understand that Ciminelli was just too tough to beat. So we have a championship final here in Delaware. Ryan Ciminelli versus Tom Daugherty. We're going to present that to you in just a couple of moments right here on FloBowling. So the final warm-up shot's being taken by Tom Daugherty. Ryan Ciminelli is striking so much, he's not even trying to throw strikes on that warm-up pair, and he's still striking. So he's obviously on top form, and this is going to be interesting to see if Tom, who's working on a couple things right there, is going to be able to take him down. Tom had a comfortable lead over everybody here in the qualifying today, in the not the stepladder, but in the match play. 12 games of match play, by the way, which you approved of, I saw. You like that idea?
I do. I do like that. I'm a big fan of more games, and even in these, ideally a 3-day format would be makes it a lot easier as far as the time of play and how many games you play in a day. But I thought this was a pretty true test and a very difficult final to make.
Yep, and here it is. We're down to one last game. And Daugherty, the higher seed, has decided to let Ryan Ciminelli start the match. And Ryan standing right and where you don't know which lane he's starting on yet. Looks like he'll be starting on the left lane. And will he maintain this crazy pace he's been on? He's been just incredible in the first couple of games. For the title, neither player having won since 2016 on the big tour. Lather, rinse, repeat. The man who's a free agent right now in the bowling equipment game comes up with a big strike.
Daugherty had to go through a few different balls during practice and had to experiment on a couple different lines, and is particularly on this right lane.
Can't quite collapse that pocket and get a messenger to trip the 2.
And that's the trick. The closer you want to play the right lane to the left lane, the tougher it is to get it to hook down lane. And actually kind of liked Zach's strategy better, but maybe more so of playing two different angles versus so much trying to play the same angle with two different balls.
Well, to show you what's happened since we've had the lanes re-oiled, there was a point now where Tom was standing right in front of that ball return, taking about 2 steps and going, from that side and trying to get it to work in, which he did beautifully. Now, of course, with the lanes fresher than they were, and he wasn't the only right-hander to do it, by the way. Virtually every righty was over there squeezed by that ball return on one side. But now he's got the approach to work with.
There's basically 3 ways to play him. You can play him like Smallwood did. You can play him out. That didn't last forever, but some guys did go back to it late because they ran into trouble. You could play him more like this, where you didn't go quite around it so much, but you kept the ball closer to the head pin, almost trapping it, so to speak. As the lane transitioned left, guys were obviously closer to 25 at 5th arrow than at 17, 18, where Tom is now. And then you had guys that went way left and then separated the angles. And by separated, I mean they moved their eyes right and had a big circle around it, got the ball to the right quickly and tried to go around them. That was very much more hit or miss as you went pair to pair. I thought the key to Tom's success was he was able to play that trap kind of game where he threw it at the 3-pin from left and still had enough rev rate to strike. But Ciminelli picking right where he left off. Another high flush strike.
It seems like a million of them, and we haven't even been working that long. Really something to watch him work. Again, coming on now, he didn't sit at home. He did bowl, just not on the PBA tour. So kept his game in shape, and it has paid off.
Wow.
Pins do not stand a chance here.
Now that's the one where he saves it just a little bit. What I would call the good bad one.
Yeah, I noticed you made a noise right after he threw it, so you saw something in his follow-through?
Yeah, and that's where the tell is. It happens before that, but he talked about foul line adjustments forever, and he's got such good feel in his game. He can feel when it gets behind him, and he's able to redirect it back on line.
Well, that's a big one there for Daugherty, because this is where the match got away from Zach Wilkins, his inability to hit that right lane. That's a big time shot for Tom.
Well, that hit right there is what separated Tom from the field as match play progressed. Didn't get it way right, didn't have a huge amount of angle, just used his rev rate and relatively closed angles and was able to get the 6 to knock the 10 out of there. And that's what put big strings together for him on the good pairs, and was able to keep him out of trouble on the harder pairs or harder lanes. So Tom's Ebonite ball rep, Dino Castillo, and one of his roommates, Sean Maldonado, there in the background.
Uh-oh. And that 7's not going anywhere. Big trouble for Tom here, 3-6-10 with the 7 on the side, and now an early crisis in this match.
Well, that's where it gets tricky because these angles are closed there on that left lane, on the right lane especially. You can't close them quite as much on the left lane as it hooks probably 2 to 3 more. It looks easily now.
Gotta slide that 3 over. Not going to happen. Open frame for Tom.
And to be fair, Rob Stone is not calling this match. He has no one to blame this.
That is
Early
correct.
Deficit on.
I am taller.
25-pin lead. Actually, 36. Chance to take it to 46.
I'm at the point now where if he doesn't strike, I demand an investigation.
A 1-inch pin ball there. You saw bared its teeth a little bit. By 1-inch pin, I mean it's 1 inch from his positive axis point. And what that does is it basically lays the weight block a little bit flatter in the ball, makes it roll more like a barrel. So it rolls early. Yikes. Yeah, made the 7-10 easily there. And it makes it roll earlier and smoother. It controls the amount of flare and it controls the amount of back-end reaction.
Well, Ciminelli in control at the moment. He defeated Tom Smallwood in the first match, defeated Zach Wilkins in the second match. Came in as the number 3 seed.
That's just terrible news there.
Not for him.
No, that's what I said. It's terrible news for Tom. That was the save shot. Follow through goes right to his right shoulder, and then he was able to do that and still go high flush.
Well, it would be title number 8 for Ciminelli if he hangs on to his lead.
Gotta go.
It did.
All right. Put a little touch on that one.
Did he roll it more slowly?
Yes, that's what exactly. He stayed up the back of it a little bit more, made it more end over end, and got the ball to pick up, but softened his speed up so it got through the pins instead of. He didn't really need the 6 to come out of the flat cutter to hit the 10. That one was a high flush. So now the key is he's got to still get the ball to the right here on this left lane. He's got to get it through the front of the lane better.
Before he ran into trouble on this lane last time.
Perfect shot there.
And undoubtedly he's saying, I could have done that in the 4th frame and I'd feel a lot better about this game if I had.
I can't speak for him, but that would be how hard is that?
Yeah.
Just throw it over there.
Same guy.
Yeah. So that does flip it back around a little bit. 15-pin lead now. Flips a little bit the onus back on Ciminelli.
Well, the onus has not been a problem for Ryan, and that time he is stuck with a 10-pin.
What can happen when you get too many games on the same pair with a 1-inch pin ball is the ball will start to hook a little early and get a little flatter down lane, even with his massive amount of speed and revs. It can sometimes hit a little flat, and that's what we've had now 2 shots in a row.
Oh my goodness.
Getting the fly out of there.
Well, that'll be handled either by one of the players or.
I think we're going to have an attendant go down there.
Yep, and that's exactly what's going to happen. Sometimes when this happens qualifying, a player will just take a ball and knock that down himself.
Generally easier to do. It causes less distraction to the players around you.
And how about the audience here in Middletown? unexpected camera time for her. All right, Ciminelli.
Back on what appears to be his better lane.
He struck every time on it in this game. Boy, he knew right away that time, couldn't he?
Posted that shot up, perfect, great balance. That swing was much more up through the middle of his head, which is underneath his shoulder there. And those shots come off the end of the pattern better, roll through the pins better. All right, here it is, 15-pin lead, chance to cut it to 5. Little reset here. Tom, one of the more unique. He's a two-finger player, but not two-handed. So.
Gotta hurry. No, he'll trip out the split.
And I mean, that is a fraction quicker. I'm completely micromanaging here. 0.1, 0.2 miles per hour faster. And from our couch, that sounds like that's really easy. Oh, just throw a little, but. Trajectory-wise, that was very close to the same shot that I thought was going to do that last time, and he was able to get it to pick up and go through him, and that time it went probably a foot longer, and then once it did that, it just kept wiggling down lane.
Well, final frames of this 2-day event coming up here, and Ryan Ciminelli is on the doorstep.
17-pin lead.
All right, again, tripped out big trouble, but he should not be in a spare shooting contest right now.
No, it is a great break that he rolls out the 10-pin both times, but unfortunately that is not going to be enough to save him here unless Ryan shows a few cracks in the armor, which there have been very, very few so far. He's not missed the pocket on a shot mid-game since the 3rd frame of game 1.
All right, so Tom doing all he can to try to keep Ciminelli in the binoculars.
Max score 221 now. Ryan Ciminelli already on a 219 pace.
Looking at a 259 max.
This is the one he wants right here.
And he knew it. He backed away from that and started to run that one out a little bit. Went out of frame, actually, at least on our monitors. And so that's getting him even closer.
Fall through right up through his left eye there. And that extra leverage is just enough to kick out both the corner pins, putting him in a 228 pace. Now a couple of clean frames, he will claim his 8th PBA title.
Yep. Yeah, it includes the 2015 U.S. Open. And suddenly, the Greek church.
And my, how quickly things change.
So first off, the obvious question, what just happened there?
And that was inside a target again a little bit, but he really made sure that one hooked. And, you know, there's been a lot of shots. He's thrown a lot of shots after himself, and he had one just pick up quick on him. I thought the last couple that he'd gotten over the top of, and those don't hook as early, and that actually might have been a better shot, which caused it to hook.
Tell me if I'm, and I know
shots.
you'll tell me if I'm wrong, but if Daugherty strikes out, he wins.
The ball is in his hands now. Unfortunately, his last 2 shots don't create much, but can create doubt or indecision. If he can commit to 4 good shots here, though, he now has what is probably the opportunity.
He can roll
to shut him out.
Yeah, he can roll a 221. But this lane has given him fits.
Slower.
Gotta go. No.
Wow.
So there goes the 221. There goes the chance to lock him out.
More importantly, he lost the count advantage as well. he'll be down 11. So if he strikes out, Ryan Ciminelli still will need to fill 20 is all in the 10th.
But I wonder if Ciminelli was shaken by that little experience he just had there. Okay.
I really like that move there. He went a little left, threw it slower, got away from that wiggle spot on the right. That lane is so much tighter down lane in front of the head pin there.
Yep, and he just can't find a flush hit on that lane.
No, it's been difficult for all the players so far. Still some opportunity here. Chance to shoot 209.
All right, punch that one through.
Basically the same shot he threw on the right lane, and that one just mows the 8 pin over. The last one wiggles and doesn't get it even to even a half pocket. Big shot here. This one puts a little bit of pressure on Ryan.
Okay, collapse the pocket.
Touch firmer and almost leaves a pocket 6 pin. Still a super, super important shot.
Well, if he gets this, Ciminelli has to mark.
It makes him throw a strike on one of 2 shots.
Yep. And Ryan will be on 14, correct? Spare, spare, strike, spare, spare, strike for Ciminelli on that right lane.
Put a re-rack. Slow it down just a touch. Very important shot here. Strike out for 209.
All right, there's the 209. He's done all he can do. But he has forced Ryan Ciminelli to come up with something and not another Greek church. 20 pins to win it here for Ciminelli.
On an open, strike spare or spare strike. Either one is all the same. Has to fill 20.
All right. Does he have one more of those in him for a title? A strike away from title number 8.
So amazing to me on a shot like that. Follow through goes right to his right shoulder and still ends up on target, on line, and goes through the pins. This one for the win.
That's it. Ryan Ciminelli is back in the winner's circle. He is a PBA champion for the 8th time in his career. And he tastes success in a building where he has come close before, a second place once here. Now he is the champion of the Gene Carter's Pro Shop Classic. And we will hear from Ryan and present the winner's check presented in just a few moments. Listen, Tom, a great tournament, buddy.
Thank you.
Good stuff.
All right.
Anything you, this has been a tough for right-handers. You
Yeah.
got through it all the way, but what happened in the last match?
I bowled a left-hander for one. It's all Bill O'Neill's fault. He opened in the 9th and 10th for him to make the cut. So Ciminelli should send him a thank you card, and I'm going to call Bill as soon as we get in the parking lot. I don't appreciate that from him. That was pretty.
Nice.
I was
You're
pretty
right.
disappointed in him,
Yeah.
but that's Bill. I'll get him back one other time. I can't even blame Bram Stone, so that kind of
No,
sucks.
that's
But
out.
I'm sure he was home watching. I'm sure he was rooting on Ciminelli, but that's okay. Maybe we'll get him next year, or we'll get him next week in Coldwater.
All right, looking forward to it, buddy. Congratulations. Great tournament for Tom. Let's meet our champion.
Now an 8-time PBA champion, Ryan Ciminelli. Very happy for you, brother. Very happy for you. Take a check first off. I don't want to get in the way of that. Which would be a sweet license plate. If you drive a truck or something, you can put that right up front.
It's going right on the window for the next to drive to.
There you go. Oh, yeah. That's your toll pass.
I get no tolls.
No tolls. Right through. The state of Delaware will not be paying any of his tolls. All right, we missed you for a couple of weeks. We've talked about that extensively. Was that any kind of motivation for you when you came back here to show folks who you are and what you can do?
You have no idea. There's just a few different reasons why this one meant a lot to me, and I'm honestly speechless. Maybe for the first time in my life, I really don't know what to say about the win. What means the most to me is the people here watching, the people here supporting, Kim, all the people that host us, my sponsors, BowlerX, Genesis, Turbo. I got to thank 2 different ball companies because they helped me get here. It was sporadic. It was in a hurry. It was a mess, and we tried to gather up an arsenal. And EBI and Brunswick were the 2 that really, really they came up to bat for me. They took care of me. Chuck with Brunswick, literally 30 minutes after the split with Motive, he said, all right, come to my garage. What do you need? What can we do? And he's been so supportive, and I can't thank him enough. And Eric, you guys didn't have to, and you did, and it says a lot about you guys at Brunswick. So thank you. Thank EBI for taking care of me, making an arsenal. And I'm just obviously so thankful right now.
What worked so well for you this week? Obviously, Tom was joking a little bit about running into a buzzsaw with you, but you were a buzzsaw, particularly today. What was going well?
Well, I feel like the lack of transition as the lefties dwindled really benefited me. And then during match play, I could break them down all by myself and I end up going back to those pairs on multiple occasions. So as long as I broke them down properly, I could go back there, bowl a big game. And I just was trying to take it a game at a time and just be smart every step of the way.
It pays off in an 8th PBA championship. Ryan Ciminelli is your champion here in Delaware. Thanks to all of you for watching on FloBowling, and thanks to everybody who came out to support these great players in the PBA Tour.